Traveling's getting me. Good morning, Bob.
Hello.
I saw you running this morning.
I was out there.
Yeah.
Getting
You
after
look
it.
good. You look slim. You look light. You look like you cut through the wind.
That means a lot because I didn't feel light this morning.
And you used to not look like it. Years ago, it used to look like you were fighting that wind.
Yeah, for sure.
No, you look taller, too. It's probably the shoes. Those
They're-
shoes have big soles.
They do. They got a bigger drop on the front.
Really like the name, make, and model of them and where you bought them so I can
Yep.
get me some of them.
Those are Asics, built for speed and height.
Are-
They're legit like two and a half inches taller.
No bullshit, your legs looked way longer this morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, that's okay. Cool. Yeah. Yeah. But no, I need new running shoes.
Yeah.
I need new running shoes.
Yeah. I rotate them often.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I run in 3 or 4 different pair throughout the week.
Really?
Yeah, because they all use different parts of your feet, like feet muscles, ankle muscles, and trying to strengthen all of them.
I learned a little bit about feet muscles on the Elk Hunt.
Did you?
We're going to get into today here.
Oh boy.
And I tell you what, fucking boots matter, motherfucker. I've always known boots mattered, but not until I was out there did I realize how much
Yeah.
boots matter from how many different perspectives.
Yeah.
Shit's intense. Your feet are important.
Got to take care of your feet.
Special. Feel like Lieutenant Dan.
Fuck yeah.
Sucks. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the HWMF Podcast. I'm your host, Seth Bob, here with my heterosexual life mate, Bob,
Good morning.
and our new esteemed colleague, Aiden.
Good morning.
How's it going, Aiden?
It's going.
Another year older you are.
23.
Yeah, big 2-3.
Holy
You
shit.
switch them around, I'm still older than you.
It's like I know I'm still young, but like at the same time, like I'm phasing out.
Growing up.
Yeah.
Growing up. It's a big deal. Good job.
This place will age you a bit.
Yeah, a little bit, huh? Everybody always says, like, you know, like me, they're like, you look 50, motherfuckers, steroids. I'm like, hey, I will take steroids over stress any day of the week.
Yeah.
Any man that is in his mid 30s, early 40s, that is under an enormous amount of stress, yeah, it'll age you a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, between me, you, and Mike, we're the owners of this company. Went through a stressful situation here about a year and two years ago,
Mhm.
and you look at pictures of us before the stress and after the stress. It was not steroids, ladies and gentlemen.
No.
But good job. Another year down, didn't die. That's a big part of getting older.
Yeah, that's a yearly win.
That's like something I like joking about because I don't know why I find funny is like just don't die. You know what I mean? Like you could go do whatever, just don't die. Some people don't take that as like it's like a little dark comedy, I guess. But good job. But no, the Elk Hunt. That's the big topic. We you guys didn't do a podcast while I was gone.
No.
Shane
no.
got a little busy.
Yeah, Shane was swamped and marketing for new products, and
Yeah.
it was a little chaotic.
It was good times.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah,
But no, the Elk Hunt. That I got fucking. I didn't get really any hate for this hunt this time,
oh, that's good.
but I got a ton of fucking comments and questions. People want to hear about it and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't get as much hate. The bear pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah,
This one, they're like, "Oh, you killed for not sport." And I'm like, "No, I don't. I'm going to eat whatever I fucking kill.
yeah,
I kill a giraffe. I'm eating the fucking giraffe. Fucking neck to nuts. I'm eating it. Got to.
Yeah.
It's part of it all." But no, it was the feet thing. Is what pretty much threw me for the biggest loop
Yeah.
on the Elk Hunt. Yeah, the boots are very important. We put on. In 4 days, we put over 40 miles in, put in probably around there,
Yeah.
about 40 miles on foot, up and down mountains. And probably the biggest takeaway is that we'll start with it and end with it. Backcountry archery hunting
mm-hmm.
is like a phrase, okay? Backcountry archery hunting. Those men are fucking psychopaths. Fucking psychopaths. Because on public land, like you're going to go for a very long time. but like you can go road bugle, like you can drive down the road, bugle for elk in the timber, and you might hear one and be able to walk in and get one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but that's not part of the fun. That's not like embracing the suck,
Right.
and that's part of the backcountry archery hunting, and that's what we experienced, and it was absolutely batshit fucking crazy. And out of the gate, there's a couple people. Obviously, Cameron Haynes. Everybody knows who Cameron Haynes is within that. But there's a guy. His name is Elk Shape. Online at Elk Shape. His name is Dan. Can't remember his last name. But he's another one. He's another fucking Looney Tune that is a fucking savage. And there's a ton of guys that aren't even really on Instagram or anything that are big deals within the hunting community that just like to hunt shit and are fucking animals. I equated it a lot to what do you do with Ironman training.
Yeah.
Because in this backcountry archery hunting, like you have to get close to the animal. Okay. And you have to get close to an animal that is very far away from civilization. And that's kind of the concept. And it takes every bit of equipment to make sure that you are successful in doing so. So it was intense. But
did you wear the same boot? Like, did you switch shoes or switch boots at all?
No,
So,
fuck
are
no.
there a
Oh
couple
no.
days?
So, well, that's what I was going to get into is
Yeah.
the terrain. So this, we did the bear hunt last year and it was awesome. I had like the time of my life. It was what I wanted to do was to go out into the wilderness and kill an animal, pack it out and all this. We really weren't into the woods that far. You know what I mean? It wasn't that far. We were far away from civilization, but not far from a road that was difficult to pack an animal out. About a mile and a half. This was a completely different experience because you are going to be on foot hunting for elk. Now, if you have never been out west, you don't, or like if you go out west but don't go hiking, you don't understand the word vast. Last year I saw vast and we drove around a lot and we got out of the truck and walked around a little bit. This was a fucking, you're on your feet from 4:30 in the morning until 9 p.m. every night. On your feet, up and down mountains, searching for elk, moving very quickly, hiking, and then being super fucking quiet, trying to hunt the elk because they'll know you're coming because you're trying to kill them, you're hunting them. But so we flew in. I flew in on Friday. And then we drove. We were in the middle of nowhere in Idaho. We drove for about 4 hours from the airport to where we were going, and we went through so many fucking wild looking terrains. It's like Idaho goes from like timbered mountains to rock mountains. Really cool looking. Yeah. But we got in, and then off the main road, we were probably about an hour and a half, hour 15 from civilization, from a town. And then we went off a dirt road for about another 25 minutes. So we were fucking in there.
Yeah.
No cell phone service. On the mountain, he had cell phone service, but I didn't, which was wild. Yeah. And then we camped out that night. We got in at midnight. I slept in the bed of the truck. We pulled everything out. He threw his canvas thing on the ground, and then he's like, "You cool with sleeping in the bed of the truck?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" There's fucking shit everywhere. Like we just pulled everything out, threw the pad in the tailgate in the bed of the truck, and then slept under the stars. It was about 40 degrees. It was fucking chilly. Fully clothed. So I'm like jet lagged. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I'm like exhausted. I'm like, fuck it. It don't matter to me. I'm just gonna go to sleep. So I slept in my Big Agnes, that's the name brand, 15-degree sleeping bag on my back. I went to sleep looking at the stars. There's no light pollution, so it was just absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And I knew there was mountains around us. Okay. I woke up 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like it's still dark out, and he's like, "Hey, let's get ready." And I'm like, "Motherfucker, I've been asleep for 4.5 hours." And I'm like, "It's freezing cold." And I'm like, "All right, let's go." So he fired up the coffee, fired up the jet boil, got a little coffee, and then we started packing our bags. And my shit wasn't really prepared because we just flown in. So packing everything up. And then like it starts to get a little bit light. And like I start looking around and I'm like, holy fuck, these are mountains.
Yeah.
These are very big mountains. And we pack our bags, and then I got some food in the bags and all that shit, and then grabbed my bow and we headed up this fucking mountain. We're at about 8,000 feet right now. And I thought I'm in shape. I'm like, I'm not in shape. We start going up this fucking mountain, and it's a fucking big hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Got a good grade on it. We start going up, and we get up like 200 yards, and I'm like, why am I breathing so heavy? I should not be breathing so heavy right now. And he's like, you like get thin air, don't you? And I'm like, he's like, that elevation gain's gonna fuck you up today. And sure enough, the whole first day, I had a hell of a time catching my breath. So we get up the fucking hill, and I'm carrying my bow, and there's about 20 to 25 pounds on our backs, like with the water and everything, because we're going for the day. We're not coming back. We're going to kill an elk, and if we get it, we're packing it the fuck out.
Right.
So we go up, and I'm like, man, this is good. I'm starting to freak out a little bit because the air is thin, and so we get up. We go 200 yards and then catch my breath. Get up another couple hundred yards, catch your breath, and keep going. And just your go, stop, catch your breath, get up. Because you can't be stomping around. No.
Yeah.
You got to be quiet. Keep your shit together. So we get to the top. We get to the top of the ridge. And I open my eyes and I'm like, holy fuck, is there a lot of fucking land here? It's just mountains. And there is no one around. You are in the middle of fucking nowhere. And like we crested this huge mountain, and then I look out and there's way more. And it's just like, there should have been like music playing, like internet music of how beautiful it all was. So then he's like, okay, we're going to go over here. We're going to dip down over this ridge and get to those rocks over there. Well, it's like a mile away. Yeah. I'm like, cool. All right, we're signed up. We're moving. And so we start going over there. And then about halfway there, we end up taking a break, stopping and looking, and we see a herd of elk. I'm like, no shit, cool. And he's like, let's keep moving. So we dip down over the ridge so they didn't see us, because the wind plays a massive role in everything. You don't want to get winded. And the thermals change throughout the day. Thermals go up the mountain and thermals go down the mountain. And you never want to be in the direction that the elk are, because then they smell you. If they smell you, you're fucked.
Right.
If they smell you, they're skedaddling. They're getting out of there. They want nothing to do with you. If they see you, they'll run away. But if they smell you, it's like, if they smell you and don't see you, they're like, fuck it, we're gone. So we finally get to this place where we're going to glass for all the elk, because it's probably at this time like almost 7, something like that. Maybe earlier, I can't remember. But all of a sudden, all the herds start pushing over the ridges. They push through the saddles, and they call it a saddle because it's like between two humps. It looks like this, like a saddle on a horse's back or a camel's back. And you start, all of a sudden, they just start pouring out. I've never seen an elk before in my entire life. And within the first 15 minutes of sitting there glassing on the mountains, because the mountains have like patches of timber on them, and that's where they are. And they come out to graze. They come out to feed, and then they come out to move, and then they go to bed down, because they bed down during the day, and then they come out to eat at certain points of the day. So within the first 15 minutes, we see, no bullshit, 24 fucking elk. Hear massive bugles. Like, my heart is pounding at this point. Just got done hiking up this fucking mountain, and I'm like, holy fuck, these elk are way bigger than I thought. They're actually here, and I'm going to get to kill one. This is awesome. So my heart is just fucking beating through my chest. And he's like, hey, this normally isn't like this. I'm like, what do you mean? We just walked up the mountain and saw elk. He's like, that's not normal. You normally don't see elk. And I'm like, well, we see them. That's great. And he's like, I'm spoiling the fuck out of you. This is not good. This is horrible. Spoiling you. And for anybody that doesn't know, the guy that I went hunting with, his name is Zach Owens. We went hunting last year, and our friend Ryan Allsbach came too. He wasn't there day one, but So, and he is a massive ball buster. And Zach is 6'4", 240, just a fucking mountain man and a half that can scale mountains.
I didn't realize how fucking big this guy was.
Oh, he's a monster.
Like I only ever see his face or like him doing a story. He's a massive individual.
He's a very big guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's fucking batshit crazy. Yeah. But like him going up mountains, he just fucking moves. He moves like an animal up the mountains. But so we're sitting there and he's just like, this isn't normal. I'm like, but it seems like we kind of like have our pick. I was like, I'm a little like fucking overwhelmed right now. I don't know what to do. And he's like, well, we're just going to watch them and see where they go. And then we're going to decide where we're going to go. But we need to see where they all go. He's like, because just because you throw out a fucking bugle doesn't mean an elk is coming running to you.
Right.
That's not how this works. The internet makes it look like that, but that's not how this works. Like you can't just go throw a bugle out and then all of a sudden they're like, I'm coming in.
Yeah.
That's not how this works all the time. So we watched for probably 30 minutes just elk after elk. So in the herds, there's usually there's a bunch of cows, the females, and then there's a dominant bull. Sometimes there's a spike or a raghorn that's in there too, like a younger bull that's also part of it. But every single one had a big bull in them. There was a 6x6, that's 6 points on one side by 6 points on the other, like 5x6 or a 4x4 or things like that. Yeah. So I think we saw 4 herds within that period of time, and they're just traveling to different patches of timber. And these mountains are very far away. Yeah. Like the one was probably the fur. I mean, there was shots that would have been like 1,000 yards. But we watched them all. It was awesome. It was an experience in itself. And he's like, hey, if you don't get an elk right now, if you don't shoot an elk this entire trip, this morning was worth it. And I'm like, so I am very spoiled. I just got spoiled bad because apparently there's guys that go hunt public land all the time and won't even hear a fucking bugle for 4 days.
Oh, shit.
Yes. What I am getting to experience is not normal.
Right.
Okay. Normally there is a small percentage of people that ever kill an elk on their first archery hunt on public land. Public land is different than private land, is different than a ranch. A high fence ranch is raising animals for people to pay a lot of money and come shoot monsters. Okay. Private land is having private land that no one else is allowed to hunt, which you're still kind of raising them, but it's not like a ranch. Okay. And then public land is anybody can fucking hunt. Anybody can. So there's difference within all of it. So a lot of the fucking massive, freakishly like 10-year-old bulls are on ranches that you see on there. And there's nothing wrong with it. People pay the money for them. They raise it. It's a great thing. I would like to kill a fucking dude. Elk are massive animals. They're insanely large.
I don't think I can really understand.
Joe Rogan was just at a ranch and he killed like an 11-year-old bull. Bro, it was probably 900 to 1,000 pounds.
Holy shit.
Oh, its back was 5.5 foot tall for sure. The back of the elk, the shoulders were as tall as I am on the bull like that. That's how big they are. Oh and moose, a shoulder of a moose is like 7.
7 foot.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking, these animals are insanely large.
No, I can't even fathom.
So we're on the ridge. I'm all fucking amped up. I'm quiet at this point now because I don't know what to do. These 2 grown men have like taken me under their wing and welcomed me into their hunting world and their hunting spots, which people in hunting don't do. They don't do that. Mm-hmm. People in the hunting world do not just say, hey, so my hunting spot is here on X. Let me send it to you. No fucking guy does that. No one in the hunting world. No one. So I'm getting welcomed into this and it's very cool. And what I got to experience was more than a lot of other guys have done this year. Like a lot of guys in Colorado aren't killing shit. They're not seeing a fucking elk. They're not hearing an elk. It's wild. Mm-hmm. At least from like a dozen guys that have messaged me. They're like, dude, I haven't seen a fucking thing. Yeah. But so then from there, He's like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And he's like, we're going to go and hunt this herd over here. And we're going to see how that works out. And then we're going to go and hunt this herd over here and just continue moving through these. And I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm just going to follow you and listen to everything you say.
Yep.
And so now being in shape is important. And I'm like, I'm really, really, really glad I trained. If I would not have trained, this hunt would have not have gone well.
Yeah.
You can't do backcountry archery hunting without being in shape.
No, traveling that amount of ground
No.
per day, no way.
I think we did 8 to 10 the first day.
But that elevation, that's insane. That's nuts.
Bro, this gets way fucking more intense. This gets so intense. So we go in and we have about a mile to hike because you can't just beeline it for these things. You have to have a strategy to get to them so you don't get picked up by the thermals, and you don't want to be seen. And you don't want to be seen by the other fucking ones either. Like, you don't want that to occur because then you just fuck it all up because then you're going to make the elk smarter. That's
Right.
part of the hunting portion. So, like, if you are a shitty hunter or you're making horrible calls and they wind you, they'll know that it's not another elk. They'll know that it's a human. And then they learn from that and become smarter. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Elk aren't that smart of animals to begin with, but that's just part of the concept. You don't want to make the animals that you're hunting more intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
You want to keep them as stupid as possible and think you're an elk so you can kill more of them. So we've seen a ton. I think the first day I saw over 30, maybe 40 elk, including the calves and all the cows, 4 or 5 massive bulls. So we go in the first day. The big experience was we went in to hunt that 6x6, that fucking big one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm freaking out. I'm like, I should not be hunting an animal this big. I'm like, because I'm amped, dude. I'm shaking, heart's beating, heart's racing the whole day from hiking and then freaking out about trying to kill this animal.
Mm-hmm.
So we go into the timber. At this point, it's probably like 3/4 of the way through the day.
Mm-hmm.
We went and hunted the other ones and was unsuccessful being able to call them in. They just weren't moving. They bed down and they weren't moving. They'd let out something, but they weren't. And then as the wind changes, we were like, fuck it, let's get out of here and go to the other one. So we went over to this herd, and this is where the big 6x6 was, and he had like 8 or 9 cows with him. So we go in and we decide we're going to sneak up on the fucking guy because the thermals are perfect. The windage is not going to him. It's coming to us. So great. So now it's time for Seth to be quiet, like a ninja, going up and down a mountain. And I'm not light on my feet,
Yeah.
especially after the first day of hiking my dick off. First time in the mountains, smoked, okay? We're going through the timber. Timber is loud. And Zach's like, we're going to sneak up on this fucking guy. He's in here. I know he's in here. We just got to find out where he is and move slow and keep going in. We're on a fucking mountain. On a mountain. Have to be quiet through timber and sneak up on this massive 6x6. And we go in and we just continue to press on, but we're being quiet. Nothing is flat. Nothing. It's all on a grade. All of it. So your ankles are going to get smoked. Your feet, you're touching just the toes and then stepping over things. And Zach somehow is just fucking, dude, he's like a tiger, like soft paws everywhere he's going. And meanwhile, I'm like, I'm sniffling, I'm moving. And then like, I'm trying not to step on sticks and I'm stepping on some sticks. And he looks back and he's like, hey. Okay. He's like, slow. Like 2 more steps. God damn. So we're sneaking up and then we get wind in and then we smell strong odor of elk. And I'm like, that's what elk smells like. Fuck me. Like, I mean, it just got blown right into our faces. And he's like 150 yards away from us for sure. I'm like, no shit. Okay, cool. Like, and now my heart rate is through the roof because I smelled it. And he's like 150 yards away, something like that. So we start creeping in slower and slower. And I'm being not quiet. We're still getting closer. And then we get within 80 yards before we see him. And all the cows are there. And the timber starts to kind of thin out.
Okay.
And so all of a sudden, like, that's bad because then they can see us. And now we have to be even more quiet to sneak up and get closer. And it's probably, I think right now it's probably about like 6 o'clock. Okay. So we're in the thick of this timber. It starts to thin and they're grazing. Like, they got up because they're going to start going out to eat for the evening and shit. But it's open enough with inside this big giant patch of timber for them to be in there grazing.
Mm-hmm.
We get within 75 yards and 70 yards, and like, you can see them. My heart is fucking pounding through my chest. Knocked an arrow. I'm prepped. Now, I'm allergic to the sagebrush that's out there. So the whole time, my nose is running like crazy. You have your bino harness in your pack and everything. My bino harness is soaked in my snot because I can't sniffle.
You just let it pour out.
Like, when we were about 100 yards out, he's like, don't sniffle. And I'm like, okay. Dude, it's just fucking pouring out of my nose. It's not like big, massive snots. It's just like leaking fluid.
Yeah.
And it's just pouring out of my nose. And I'm like wiping it. My arm is just soaked in my snot. My bino harness is just, I'm watching it drip. And I'm like, don't you fucking sniffle. We're going to go
Don't you dare.
We're going to kill this motherfucker today. It's going to be awesome. We get within, and the whole time you're being quiet. And like, you're on a steep mountain. Okay. So it's not flat. So like, your feet, you're holding pressure on your toes, on your heels, on your knees, like the eccentric movement, because we're going down the mountain. The eccentric movement on your knees, like, that's what I realized I'm going to do a lot of training for, is moving slow and like applying pressure onto my knees to move down a hill, because nothing's flat. And so we're being quiet, not sniffling, not stepping on sticks, pack on the back, bow in hand, arrow nocked, trying not to get seen, trying not to get winded, and you're creeping up. You're stalking the animal. It was so fucking awesome, and it was so difficult, and I'm just trying not to freak out because my heart rate was like $180.
Yeah.
So we get up, and we are 55 yards away, and we see all of them. Like, they're still timber. They're behind trees and moving through them. And we get within 55 yards, and we got our, at the same time, you're checking distance with your rangefinder.
Mm-hmm.
And he whispers, he's like, do you have a shot? And I'm like, no. He, at 6'4", and he's higher up on the mountain, and I was in front. He's higher up on the mountain behind me, and he's 6'4". There was a fucking shot through this one tree that he had at him. And I had to take a step left, probably 2 steps left, to have a similar shot. And then as we're moving, the fucking one cow, like, just walked 30 yards away from us, just like popped out of fucking nowhere and was just staring at us.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, fuck me. And he's like, move. And I'm like, I can't look. He looks over, and the fucking thing's right there, staring right at us. I can see the bull. I just don't have a fucking shot. And my heart's like, fucking, it's beating faster. And I'm freaking out. My nose is running like crazy. And I'm like, fuck. So I'm like creeping, like moving little by little, like trying to like sneak over. And then the cow, it moved even closer. We didn't move. Like, whenever it's looking at you, just don't fucking move. So then it went back and put its head down to graze some more. And then I creeped over. I'm like moving little by little. And it ended up spooking, and it barked. And once it barked, it made this weird noise that wasn't a call or anything like it. And then they all fucking skedaddled out of there.
Fuck.
I know. It was 45 minutes of sneaking in, 15 fucking yards of absolute fucking like panic attack level of anxiety and heart rate.
Yeah.
And then for that to occur, I'm like, fuck me. And he looked after, like, it happened. After all that, after it all happened, and like, I'm like, I had this like big sigh of like, fucking, it was my fault, this or that. And I look at him, and he goes, how fucking awesome was that? And I'm like, you're not disappointed in my head. And he's like, how fucking awesome was that? I was like, bro, that was one of the most fucking intense things I've been through in a while. And he's like, sick, right? Let's go try more. Like it didn't even phase us. It didn't give a fuck. Not like, fuck, you missed or anything like that or anything happened. It was, let's go to the next one. Let's go hunt more. And I'm like, at that point, that's whenever I had this huge like sigh of relief and anxiety lifted off of me of like, okay, cool. Like we're just going to go hunt animals and hope for the best of it working out. Like I had this huge pressure on me as we went in there of like making sure that like everything was perfect, but nothing's going to go perfect. Anything can happen at any point in time.
Right.
So it went from this huge like, God damn it, Seth, you fucked up, you sniffled or you shuffled your feet or the fucking thing was staring right at us and it just got spooked because it happens. It's all part of this. And he looks and he's like, how fucking cool, how awesome was that? Let's go hunt more. I'm like, let's go.
Dude.
So, and what the thing was, as we were walking in on this herd, he was cow calling and bugling. And like, he'd get like a half-assed one because he was bed down. Nothing came rushing out. Nothing. This fucking guy was just staying there. That's why we stalked him. That's why we went in. And it was super fucking awesome. But very full of anxiety. So we hiked back out of the timber. And at this point, it's getting pretty late. And Ryan was showing up. So we're like, let's get out of here. So we ended up getting on the side of the mountain. And we just watched the sunset. Like, sun was going down. I'm like, dude, this is nuts. I was like, let's take a break, get some water, relax a little bit. And so then we hike up the mountain. And just before we get to the top, that same fucking 6x6 that we just hunted and didn't make a fucking noise at us whenever we were coming in to be like, hey, we want to fucking fight you or something with the bugles.
Yeah.
He comes right out of the fucking timber that we were just in. Literally the same spot that we walked out an hour and a half before this, that we hiked out and sat on the mountain and watched the sunset and shit, wait for Ryan. This cocksucker comes out bugling like a motherfucker. Starts coming out like, fuck everybody. Coming out to fight and take more cows. Because that's what they want to do. They're going to show dominance and take more cows for their herd. He comes right out and I'm like, motherfucker. Son of a bitch. So I was like, if this doesn't work out, we're coming back for this cocksucker at 7:30 at night and hiding behind a tree. He's like, that's not exactly how it works, but we could try.
Yeah, right.
But, and then like in the evening, whenever we were on the mountain, everything came out again. All the herds. It was wild to watch. And then they bugle back and forth at each other. And then we heard a fight in the timber the one day, but it was nuts.
Dude, what an experience.
That's the I wish we could have filmed it all.
Yeah.
Okay. Wish we would have, but it was the coolest first day I could have asked for.
You almost can't film an experience like that.
All of the hunting shows do absolute nothing in comparison to real life. All of them. Like, because I watched a lot of them and then experienced it. And the first day didn't shoot an elk, didn't do nothing. And it was one of the coolest, intense things you could do. Yeah. I understand why people love it so much. So we hike back to camp. Ryan comes and Ryan has a side-by-side. So we go back and then we go to a different spot to be able to get to. There's back roads to all these different spots in the same patch of mountains that we were in that you could go and get to from different locations. So you could so that we could hunt better in the morning from a windage and thermals perspective. Thermals is the wind in the direction that it's going.
Gotcha.
So we go back, get packed up for the next day, and Ryan's like, just pack a little more water. We're going to fucking hike way more tomorrow. I'm like, way more? Bitch, we put on like 8 to 10 miles. He's like, oh yeah, we'll probably do 12, 14 tomorrow. I'm like, 12 to 14 fucking miles. Okay. So we get back and then I just pass. Right. We ate mountain meals. Have you eaten any of those freeze-dried meals yet?
No, I haven't touched anything.
You got to try a freeze-dried meal like a Mountain House or a Peak meal. They make you have the most horrendous shits you've ever had in your life. The most horrendous shit. They're huge. Zach was like, they're called mountain house shits because you smell way different, and they are massive shits.
What's in them? Like what?
It's just free. It depends on what it is. Like he
Yeah.
eats like chili mac and cheese and shit like that. And I'm like, hey, bud, like I ain't doing no chili mac and cheese freeze dried.
No.
I did chicken and rice teriyaki. That's what I did. Chicken teriyaki and
Sounds
rice.
about right.
That's what I did, and it was delicious. It was great because it's fucking sodium filled, full of fucking calories, and then you're good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's preserved like a motherfucker.
oh yeah,
right?
it's freeze dried. They're awesome. So yeah, I ate one of those, and then you just shit in the woods. Dude wipes. This is a great ad for dude wipes. They are phenomenal.
Yeah.
You ever use dude
Yeah,
wipes?
we took some when we went camping.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're biodegradable too. Which makes them
no
cool.
shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And then since we didn't take a shower for 4 days, dude wipes makes like a towel. You can take like a shower, but not a shower. You just wipe your balls and your asshole and your under armpits and all this. Like they're big, giant paper towels. Like if you work construction,
Mm-hmm.
you should have these in your fucking truck. Like after a nasty 8 to 10, 12-hour day of sweating your fucking balls off and you stink,
Mm-hmm.
like you can wipe yourself down with these things and feel way better. They're awesome. Yeah,
Nice.
big fan. Dude wipes, good job.
Yeah.
Dude Wipes should sponsor HWMF Podcast.
I'm all for it, dude. I will. They sponsor Zach
No shit.
because he
That's
was
awesome.
dude. He didn't on Bear Hunt. He didn't shut the fuck up about him.
I forget when I opened them before I broke the seal, like on the wipes, it had something funny on the inside. Like I forget what it said.
Apparently, they were on Shark Tank and they were roommates in college. That's where this company came from, and they do. Listen, they are a phenomenal product. I'm like, I was blown away with the towels.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're key. If you work construction, you should. I'm going to get them just for my truck to have them to wipe my balls, or even just being a fucking gym rat. You know, whenever you got some cheese from a workout or anything
Fucking
like
swamp ass.
yeah, dude. And you're like, like you don't have time to get a shower. You train in the mornings and you don't get a shower before you go to work or do something else. Dude, this thing cleans your asshole and nuts up so quick. It was awesome. You feel fresh too. Like you feel.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a piece of fucking shit by day 4. Like I felt like there was just like shit crawling in my beard, but it was good. Yeah.
4 days of snot running down,
Bro.
no sniffling.
He's like, what is going on with you? Because when we got back to camp, it would stop because there wasn't any sage around where we were at the camp. Like not as abundant where
Right.
we were. Yeah. I mean, it smelled incredible. Like the sagebrush and everything. I'm like, man, it smells like a fucking, it smells like beautiful countryside out here, but then just fucking running like a sieve. My bino harness just has snot all over the fucking top of it. So the next day we went out and we went back in and then just hiked all fucking day trying to hunt elk, calling them, fucking hiking up a fucking mountain, down this other side of the mountain, up another mountain, around the backside, ridges, canyons, through rocks, this, that, everything. And they were not fucking responding at all. We knew they were in there. We try and stalk them in there again. And then we just couldn't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
The second day was a fucking hiking day of holy shit. Like a fucking lot of hiking.
Yeah.
A ton of fucking hiking.
Are you sweating during the daytime hours?
Well, it's funny you asked that, Bob.
Yeah.
You know how we made our shirts?
Yeah.
Our light performance shirts, and they're designed to keep you cool in the sun and warm in the shade.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what you need when you're on the mountains, because you go from the mountainside in the sun of 70 degrees. Once you get into that fucking shade, it drops 15 degrees.
Oh.
I mean, fucking, and then at night, whenever that sun went down on the side of the mountain, dude, it went from 68, 70 degrees. Within 2 hours, it's fucking 45 degrees.
Mm.
So that's why the layers are so important in hunting. They are vital. Like our shirts are phenomenal. And Zach said the same. He's like, dude, your shirts are legit. He's like, this is really nice. He's like, this is what they're supposed to do. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. I mean, we planned on it.
Fucking knew it.
But functionality in hunting is everything. I mean, from the fucking packs, the way everything fits, the way it fits on your skin, everything matters. Mm-hmm. And the shirts were phenomenal. But yeah, didn't sweat a whole lot. until day 3 when I killed mine. That's whenever it was the most treacherous fucking terrain I've ever been on in my entire fucking life. The day I killed and where I killed my elk was fucking freakish. It was just terrifying. So, but we did a good job with the shirts.
Yeah, it's awesome.
They're top notch. Top notch. The only thing that we need to work on is putting a sun hood on them and getting the fucking price of the sun hood down.
Yeah.
Because everybody on our shirts, the reason we didn't put a hood was because the manufacturer added almost as much for the fucking shirt as the hood.
Yeah.
So whenever you see a hooded sun shirt, they're more expensive because of the fucking hood.
Yeah.
Every single company. Every single company. We got landscaper Larry out there right now.
Doing his thing. Doesn't even need it. I wonder what he's listening to.
You think he's listening to podcasts or tunes?
Probably this podcast.
He looks like a podcast guy.
He does.
Yeah.
He's a one-man wrecking crew.
He is.
He does a good job.
Yep.
So that's why the hoods are so expensive on shirts. So whenever you see a fucking like one of these shirts that have a hood on them, they're expensive because of the hoods. Anyway, we put a hood on them too. So on day 2, like we're there and Zach had the spot we're in, this group of mountains that we went in and fucking just hiking our balls off. And then there's another location that he really wanted to go hunt. This is the spot that we were supposed to go to with the horses. Okay. Because we were originally supposed to go in on horseback. And then Zach had something come up at the end of this month that when we were supposed to go. And he's like, hey, can we move the hunt? And that's why the hunt got moved up because he had something going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so then the guy with the horses wasn't able to go. And he's like, I really want to fucking go to these mountains. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, we just need to pack more food and water. I'm like, fuck me. Okay, cool. But all right, I'm in. I'm already here. I'm not going to say no. I'm in shape. I can fucking go. If I made it today, I can make it tomorrow.
Right.
So we get all set. The next day, it's a fucking 45 minute side-by-side ride to these mountains.
Bro, that's far on a side-by-side.
Bro, we woke up at 4, got all ready, and then took a fucking 45 minute side-by-side ride to get to this spot. No fucking civilization. You ain't seeing fucking nobody and shit. And this public land, so if you do see somebody, it's kind of like, you're fucking crazy too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it yet. I'm just in the back seat of the side-by-side riding out this way. And I'm like, cool, like, fuck yeah, let's go kill an elk. Like, I'd really like to kill one. I saw a bunch of them. We got close to some. I'm loud. It's pissing me off. I'd like to kill a fucking elk, you know? So we fucking take this 45 minute fucking cruise on the side-by-side. And then as we're getting there, the mountains are starting to look a little different. Starting to look more rocky. Like rather than timber-esque and sage, there is still a lot of that, but then there's some really rocky spots. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, fuck, man, these look steep. We get there and these fucking mountains are way steeper. Way steeper. I didn't think they could get any steeper than what we've just hiked, what I hiked the day before and how it was intense. Way steeper. And there's a lot of rocks on these mountains, like rocks to get to timber.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the rocks are insanely sharp, like sharp. Like fuck your feet up. You touch, if you fall and put your hand down, slice your hands open type of sharp. Like, because when you touch them, you're like, man, these are rough. These are just like, it'll take the skin off of your fingers just touching them. So I get out and I'm like looking around and we're like looking and I'm starting to get anxiety again like I did the first day. Mm-hmm. Like these are fucking steep mountains. They're scary looking. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh, okay, calm down. Everything's going to be fine. So I take a nervous piss. I get some more water in me. I already eat like some trail mix. And he's like, hey, what are you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Fueling up.
We're good. I'm like, fuck me. So I was like, okay, if I kill an elk in this shit, this is going to be an ugly pack out. So Zach, Ryan, and I getting a little overzealous. Like, hey, what's the plan? And he's like, let me figure that out. Like Zach says that to me. And I'm like, okay, all right. So, because dude, it's terrifying. Like we're talking climbing up certain mountains on bear crawling it, hands and feet. And the entire time I've been carrying my bow in my hand. Bow's in my hand the whole time.
Oh my God,
just because I'm
dude.
like, be ready.
Yeah.
You're ready. Got the bow in my hand. And so fucking huge steep mountains, and I'm starting to get a little nervous because I'm also afraid of heights. I didn't tell anybody I'm afraid of heights either because I don't want to look like a pussy. So I'm just looking around, and it's just the most wild, treacherous terrain I could ever imagine. So he comes up with a plan, and Zach is a massive ball buster. Okay, massive ball buster. Loves fucking with people. Just loves a good time. Likes to make sure you feel lighthearted and welcomed and fun. But he's also a psychopath and a very intense guy. So he looks and he's like, hey, he's like, today's gonna be a fucking bitch. He's like, it's gonna be ignorant. He's like, just be ready and just keep moving. I'm like, okay, thumbs up, let's go. Here we go. We start going in, and immediately we have to go through the rocks. And these rocks are straight up and down, and I'm like shaking and palms are sweating because if you fall down the fucking mountain, I don't know if you're making it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're going to be okay. Like, if you smack your head on one, you're probably going to die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, just so.
Oh my God.
At the gate, we're going in, and we go across the rock face and then go down the one ridge, and then we start going up the other, and then there's more rocks. And it's just so fucking insanely steep. The entire time, I'm having anxiety from the heights. Mm-hmm. I'm not even thinking if I see an elk at this point. So then we get through all this bullshit, and then all of a sudden you see fresh elk shit, like fresh, like a couple hours old. And Zach, he's like, he smashes it with his feet, picks it up, looks at it. He's like, it's fucking fresh. And I'm like, you are a mountain, man. Just stepping in the shit and like picking it up and smelling it and touching it. And you're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden we start getting into some of the timber parts, and there are massive elk rubs. Like, I mean, elk rubs that is taken off brush on trees. Like the one rub was over 6 foot tall, like just rubbed raw on all these trees that are fucking super thick. So at that point, like there's elk in here, and there's big elk in here. And then we start seeing elk rubs the entire time through the timber. Old ones, new ones, fresh ones. Elk are in these fucking mountains. So now I'm having a similar panic attack as the first day of heart rate at 180. Yeah. And then also freaking out that I'm on the side of a fucking cliff trying not to fall down and die because Seth does dumb shit. And my ankles are just going every different direction because you're stepping on rock the entire time. It is an insane, wild feeling of feeling unsafe, excited about there being elk in these mountains, potentially getting close enough to kill one again, and just the experience of looking out and just seeing nothing but mountains and no people, no nothing. It was awesome. So we are probably at this point, we get in about 4.5 miles. Okay. And it's just unfucking godly terrain, just insane terrain. And it's probably like 11 o'clock at this point. So then we finally get to a horse trail, okay, that we met up with there's horse trails that you can take that we were going to be using to get to. So we finally get on this horse trail to take us up to the other side of this fucking huge mountain that was even scarier than the one we were just fucking on. So then we get onto the horse trail, and we're going, and like as you look forward, there's just like a canyon, 2 mountains V together, and there's just this canyon that's full of timber back there. And Zach and Ryan both looking at it and being like, there's fucking elk in that canyon, dude, without a fucking doubt. I'm like, yeah, there is.
I knew it.
My intuition is telling me there's fucking elk in there. So we go about another 10 minutes up this fucking trail, and we just get smashed with this smell of elk.
What is it? Can you describe it?
It's elk piss.
Okay.
So whenever an elk is doing anything like rubbing their head or in the mud or bugling or pissed or anything, their fucking dick just flaps and pisses all over themselves and everywhere. Mm. It is a very musky, strong smell. You smell it, you're like, that's elk. I didn't know what it smelled like until I had this fume into my face of it. And I'm like, that's elk. So all of a sudden we just get hit in the fucking face with it. And like everybody's eyes lights up. Like Zach and Ryan look at me and they're like, Like no words were said, nothing. And the entire time you're also whispering. You don't talk, you whisper. Okay, whisper. So they just get this fucking like absolute overwhelming sense of glee on their faces. And I'm like, fuck yeah. He's like, knock an arrow. We're on the horse trail. I knock the arrow. And then they're like, we're going to do some cow calls. Cow calls, a female elk are going to call and say that they're a female elk. And that will get some of the bulls excited to come and fuck it. That's what they want to do.
Got it.
A bugle let out would be something to let it know that I'm another male and I want to fuck your day up. Let's fight, bitch.
So they're either fighting or fucking.
That's all they're doing at this point in the rut. You're fighting and fucking. That's all you're doing. So they do some cow calls and we take like 5 more steps. And then they hear a small bugle. And I'm like, I heard it too, but they were like, yep. So then they let out another cow call, and all of a sudden, you hear one coming in, and I have an arrow knocked, and then they're like, he's fucking coming in. He's coming in to fuck right now. It's gonna happen fast. Like just be ready. So all of a sudden, you put eyes on it. You put eyes on it 150 yards out, 75 yards out, and then before you know it, that motherfucker is right here. And the entire time that this is happening, you're trying to gauge distance. And I'm not good at that because I'm a beginner. Mm-hmm. So you get your rangefinder out and you're range finding trees on how you believe that this animal is going to come in. Mm-hmm. Okay. Just left, right, center, all these things. So I'm range finding things and I'm like, I don't fucking know. So I just say, fuck it, put the thing away. I have the arrow knocked and hit just from 150 yards out to I shot it at 47 yards out. Mm-hmm. Happened in no time. From the time that we smelled it to the time that I shot this fucking thing, 2 minutes.
Oh, fuck.
Maybe a minute.
Yeah.
Felt like nothing. So it comes in it's coming in and my heart's beating through my chest. It's coming up into my throat. I feel like I'm choking. And I'm trying to run through everything that I do to shoot. Because as you shoot, you need to have a routine. Mm-hmm. So that way, whenever it's occurring, like you have your shit together. That's why you shoot and train whenever your heart rate is elevated. Nothing could have prepared me for the level of fucking where I was. No way. So my fucking heartbeat is in my throat. I'm sniffling still, dripping with snot. And then I've been really practicing from 20 to 40 yards. Mm-hmm. Took some 50-yard shots. But this thing comes flying in 47. He's like, it's 47 yards. I'm drawn back 47 yards and I'm looking and my fucking hand is shaking like this. I mean, dude, it was moving so much that I couldn't, you can't control it. You can't settle it down. My heart rate's in my throat. My arm is shaking like fucking crazy. I'm not weak. I just can't control myself at this point. Mm-hmm. And it's standing right there looking for the cow to fuck. That's what it's waiting for. It is waiting for that. And then it just looks right at us. And I'm at full draw, arms shaking like crazy. And I'm just there. I'm like, okay, calm down. Kill this motherfucker. And I had this moment of like, calm down. Thought I held it straight. On its fucking heart, it was broadside. Thumb trigger. Fucking arrow flies. And I hear, think. I spined the bitch. I shot it. It went right down, but I shot it directly in the fucking spine. So I had a bad shot.
Fuck.
Zach's like, he's like, fucking, you spined the motherfucker. He's like, it's down. And it's down at this point. Rough shot. Mm-hmm. So then he's like, we got to hightail it down there and kill this motherfucker because it's not in a good spot. Right. It's paralyzed.
Right.
So I knock another arrow and we're on a very steep fucking mountain. Mm-hmm. And this thing goes down, it flops over, and I knock another arrow and we just hightail it down there. Mm-hmm. So it's probably about 60 yards away from it at this point. So we run down there real quick, probably within 15 seconds. We get there, I fucking draw an arrow 25 yards away, put it right through its heart, and it just, right, that's whenever all of a sudden the blood just starts fucking squirting out.
Yeah.
Squirting out of as it takes a breath, fucking 10, 15 feet, it's flying out of its fucking chest. Wow. And he's like, it's down, it's gonna die. He's like, it'll be dead in seconds, dude. Mm-hmm. And then it was just this overwhelming sense of holy fucking shit, was that insane. So within the span of,
Oh my God, dude.
oh, it was the wildest. It was awesome.
My heart rate's up right now.
It was awesome. It was, I'm upset that I didn't get a good shot, but I also completely understand how it can occur and how no amount of training could prepare you for a first time.
Yeah.
I just know that I need to train a lot more and way harder, but it was insane, and how fast everything occurred. It went from me freaking out and just being happy we're on a fucking horse trail that's 3 feet wide to all of a sudden an elk is flying in out of nowhere. And there's like, just got to be able to keep your shit together. But it was absolutely insane. Happened fast. And then, like, once it went down and once it died, just going up to the animal, like seeing it, how big it is.
Yeah.
They are like, elk are like insanely like majestic.
Yeah.
They're so big and so fast and so like, they're very cool looking up close. They're massive, massive deer. But it was cool. It was wild. We were probably about 150 yards up the mountain where it died. So once it died, we ended up dragging it down to the bottom of the hill and then just field dressing it from there. But it was nuts. Very cool. The like, I wish I would have had a better shot, but then at the same time, I'm kind of glad that it happened the way it did, because now I can appreciate how the training that much more. I can appreciate. I'm glad that I didn't just wound it, and wasn't able to go hunt it, but I spined it, so it was rough in that sense. But at the same time, shit happens in hunting. Nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
And to be top-notch archery hunter, tip my hat to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not fucking easy, because there's so many different things that go into it. So then fun part came, and that was field dressing it.
So like at this point, I mean, from this point, like where the animal is lying, you're how far from?
A little over 4.5 miles out. And I'll say that whenever I was down there, like whenever we dragged it down, and it kind of like all of a sudden this whole sense of like, oh my God, this is real. And then you kind of look around, like, people give hunting such a bad name from like, just because you're killing an animal. But whenever you get up close to how big and how beautiful the animal is, any animal actually, and then knowing that you took its life, and you're in the middle of nowhere, like you are in the middle of nowhere, it's like a level of euphoria and nature at its finest. Like, you can't help but believe in God when you're out there.
Yeah.
Couldn't help it. Like looking around, like whenever I first put my hands on the animal, I said a prayer, said, thanking the Lord for giving me this opportunity and taking this animal's life. But then like looking around, like seeing the vastness of where I was and what I had to do to get this animal out, and how cool of an experience that you actually get to live is. Because that's part of the whole archery aspect. It gets back to a little more primal of a state.
Yeah.
And I think it's such an overused trite state now with the fucking Liver King and people like that don't actually kind of like appreciate everything for what it is. And me being like at such a beginner level of this and being my first archery elk hunt, it's like, this animal is massive. It's majestic. It's beautiful. And if you don't appreciate taking an animal's life, and then the beauty of the landscape and where you actually are, and then being with two guys that are very excited for you and happy that you're getting to experience, you're an asshole if you don't like appreciate that for what it is.
Yeah.
It was the feeling that I was hoping to have, but with way more added added flair to it, I guess you could say. It was awesome. Super cool. Because then, like, now comes the hard part, and that's field dressing and packing out this animal. And you don't want it to go to waste. You don't want to, you want to make sure that you give the animal the best that you could have to offer it. And even though I didn't have a good shot, I'm glad I didn't wound it and it went off and suffer and die, you know, a year later of gangrene or some weird wild stuff. But yeah. So then packed it out. And that was the fun part. We had to get the animal back to the side-by-side. 4.5 miles out. And field dressing it was fun. I enjoyed that. It was super cool. Skin's way thicker than I thought on an elk. But yep, got that, quartered it out. Packed it in these the meat bags. Argali is the company. Good job to them. Great guy, the guy that owns it, Mr. Argali. It's not his name, and his name's Brad. Argali is a type of sheep in the stands, like Pakistan, Afghanistan. Massive. It's like the king of all kings of sheep. An Argali ram, Argali sheep. Look them up. They're wild looking.
Holy fuck!
They're like $180,000 to hunt them.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, yeah, we quartered it out, took all the meat and then packed it out. I probably had like 150, 160 and Zach had the same. And then I had the head and then Ryan took a different path to the side-by-side. So that way we wouldn't have to go across these rock faces. Because that's what I got really nervous as we were packing everything up. I was like, I really don't want to go across these fucking rock faces because I don't know what would have happened. So we ended up taking the horse trail. It was a little bit of a farther walk, but way less treacherous.
Yeah,
I'm just like, I will walk further instead of doing that. So Ryan took the treacherous route. He had about 50 pounds on him and got back to the side-by-side. And then we met him at a different location through the horse trails. So we just had a fucking further walk.
Yeah.
But as we were packing out, like now is the part that you embrace the suck. Now is the part where like the thing that I'm training for with a pack on my back, finding the hills, all the stuff. And nothing will prepare you for that. You can't, because it's over 150 pounds and it goes all on your hips and then it just beats the ever loving shit out of you.
Yeah. You
can't put 150 pounds on your back every week and train for it. That's probably a really bad idea because it's going to beat your body to hell and back. But you just kind of zone off. And I zoned off into my world of like the euphoria of how beautiful it all is. It's gorgeous. It's an experience that I think everybody should experience. I think that more people would be better people if they went out there and did what I did. I think that even if you don't kill the animal, even if you get to watch the animal, help field dress it or just be present for it and put some fucking meat on your back and hike out, like you'd have a different perspective on life. Because the entire time I'm like, I don't know what to think about. I don't know what to do. And then I just was like, fuck it. This is beautiful. This is like the coolest thing that somebody could do. It takes it. I don't even know. I feel way different about just nature in general and how fucked our society is and how out there it didn't matter. How out there it was just beautiful. So, yeah, I just thought about life and how beautiful it actually is. My kids, my relationships, and how bad it sucks to have 160 pounds on your back because my ass cheeks were on fire.
Yeah.
The first mile, I had a pump in my ass cheeks. It was ungodly because that's where all my weight, I had no pressure on my hips, all ass cheeks. So as I'm fucking hiking out, all of it is in my ass cheeks. I had a pump in my glutes that was ungodly, and you don't sit down. You don't sit down. If you sit down, you're fucked.
Yeah, you won't get moving again.
So you do the lean. You just lean over like this. Put all the weight on your upper back and lean over and just wait. Like bend over halfway through. That's it. You just bend over. So whenever you see pictures of guys packing stuff out, Zach was like, every hunter needs this picture. It's bend over. Like as we were taking a break, just took the picture. He's like, every single guy will know this feeling. It's either hips or glutes. Mine was glutes. And then about a mile in is whenever my glutes stopped. They stopped. There was nothing there anymore. Mm-hmm. There was no water left in my butt cheeks. Mm-hmm. Couldn't keep a pump for more than an hour. Mm-hmm. So after that, it was like nothing. Because then I'm just like numb to the feeling. So we just had another 4.5, 5 miles to get the fuck out of there. And you just think about nothing, and you look around and you feel how cool it is to kill an animal and to be in God's country. And make no mistake, if you don't believe in God, you'll find that motherfucker out there. Because you can't look out a sunset across the mountains. You can't kill an animal, pack it out, and not think there is way more than you are here. Mm-hmm. It's legitimately impossible, in my opinion. Because going out there and doing it, if you'll get closer to God. It's impossible not to. If you're a mile away from him, or if you feel like a lifetime away from God, you'll be a little closer if you go out there and do that. If you're super close to him and you have him close to you in your heart, you're going to get even more closer being out there and doing that. Mm-hmm. That's my biggest takeaway from it all. And a lot of people are like, you're killing an animal, you're taking its life. Well, do you not think I'm grateful? Or do you not think that a lot of hunters are grateful for this opportunity? Mm-hmm. That's what we as a race have done forever. Mm-hmm. We found out a way to kill an animal and feed our families, utilize everything we could from the animal. And being out there, that's my biggest takeaway from it. Mm-hmm. And along the way, building relationships with the people like Zach and Ryan. Yeah. Like these are two grown men that is taking another grown man and taking that person under their wing, showing them the ropes, enjoying their presence, building a relationship, building a bond, and something that no one can take away from us other than each other. Like that's the biggest takeaway of being out there in that scenario, because we were all in it together. We were all doing something really cool and fun and hiking together. And then whenever I killed the animal, they were just as excited, if not more than me, because they were freaking out as well. And it was just, it's wild, because whenever we got back, after we packed it all out and Ryan picked us up and we're back at camp and we were going to go drive an hour into town to get a burger and cleaned up and make sure we got enough ice and pack the meat on the coolers and everything. It's like we were talking about our kids getting together to go hunting. And because Zach has 2 sons, I have SJ, and Ryan has a son. And as they get older, it's like we'd like to keep doing this once a year where we all get together and go hunting, even if we don't see each other all year until the hunt. That's what all 3 of us did this time. And it's like at some point we will be the ones that are stop hunting. Mm-hmm. We won't be going for the kills. It will be the children. And at that point, it's like, well, then what's the fun in that? That's the whole thing about hunting, to be able to pass something on to your kids and to see them do it. And then these groups of children that have no relationship with one another except their fathers, to be able to pass that on to them and them continue to do it, to build a relationship just because it's something that would be nice to do. Yeah. And again, being out there and seeing it, it's impossible not to have these thoughts, emotions, and feelings about life and about just about togetherness and something that brings people together to do something cool. But yeah, that's my biggest takeaway from it all. It was one of the wildest experiences I've ever had. I'd equate it to the same level and excitement of me like training for a bodybuilding show. Yeah. Because win or lose, it's an experience that not many people get to have. Mm-hmm. You go and train for a bodybuilding show. The day of the show, you're fucking amped. You're ready. You didn't take first place, and you're a little bummed out, but man, what an experience it was. You do take first place. All these great, wonderful emotions, but now you just want more. Mm-hmm. You think you can do more. You want more. It's the same type of thing. You train really hard for something. You are full of emotions and happiness and excitement and all these wild feelings, it's on that same level because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a very long time, and I got to fulfill it. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I can relate in a way. It's the same reason I do what I do with triathlon. It's
I think that it's what everybody should be searching for in life.
it's like that first opportunity where you can really tax the mind and the body to a point where like you don't even actually really know what's going on.
No,
Like you somehow got through it, like when other times may have seemed harder and like you quit and gave up. It's just like, how the fuck, how did we do that?
I
You
think,
know,
and I think that that's where today, like I like nice shit, and I like having my really nice bow, my really nice boots, and my nice bag, and all these very nice things that I use, the materials for the hunt and everything. I like nice shit, but whenever you're running for an Ironman, like, or you're hiking on a fucking mountain in the middle of nowhere, like those things are playing a role. However, like the experience becomes priceless. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The experience itself becomes something that's what keeps you there. The shoes aren't what's keeping you running.
Nope.
The boots aren't what's keeping me running. The bow didn't kill the elk, even though it did kill the elk. You know what I mean? Like the experience itself of doing these things are what people should be chasing. I think that the more people that chase experiences that test you, I think the better society would be. You know, and having really good people along the way matter.
Yeah.
Like you having your people with the Ironman. If you didn't have your Ironman community, you would not be having as much fun as you are.
Not a chance. No
If
way.
I didn't have Zach and Ryan, I would have been in the middle of Idaho dead. I would not have come home.
Yep.
There's no way. I would have been fucking lost and starving. For sure.
And it's usually a relationship that like you have with no one else. You know, like my buddy Tony, I'm racing on Sunday. I haven't seen. I saw him twice this year because we did other races together, but I see him one time a year. We don't even text or talk that often because we're both busy.
Yep.
But as soon as I see him get off that plane on Thursday, it's
Pick right up.
right where we left off, if not
More so.
more so. Yeah.
It's that camaraderie and relationship and tradition that you have with someone that you're the only ones that can take it away.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I find that to be the most fascinating, great thing about this. And the number of people that when you do complete an Ironman, or I did have a successful elk hunt, the number of people that are in that community that are excited is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The people that aren't excited for you, or the people that give you shit about that, have no fucking clue whatsoever about what you do. People from other industries can appreciate what someone does for sure, just because they know that it's not easy.
Yep.
But the people that you usually get hate from, or a little fucking jab here and there, have nothing to do with that area. And if they do give you a jab, that is the most unliked cocksucker of that industry.
For sure.
And it's funny you say that because it's funny you say that because with Zach, so having those questions or those relationships and embracing the suck, because whenever you're training for something, it really blows. You're doing fucking 30 miles a day. 75 miles on the bike and 25-mile run, this and that. You're on the side of a fucking mountain shitting your pants, freaking out because you might fall over and die. Breathing heavy, just mayhem. And having good people around you is what makes everything better. So Zach, for example, what makes it so much fun was we're on the side of the mountain. Ryan is a wholesome man. 4 kids. Lovely, beautiful, wonderful family. Doesn't swear very much. Doesn't drink. He is a solid guy. Me. asshole. Zach, dickhead. But no, I'm not like a horrible person. I just have a foul mouth, and I've done some wild shit in my day. Zach doesn't drink too much, and he doesn't swear a whole lot either. But he's a wild man, and he's just super fucked up in the head. He was a pro fighter as well, so.
Oh shit.
Oh, that man would fucking ragdoll me like no other, just because he's a fucking monster and he can kick like a son of a bitch. So anyway, so he's a lot of fun to be around. But as we fucking hike up that massive mountain on the rock face and freaking out, like it's intense. You get Zach. We're all like standing there together, whispering. It's like breathing heavy, trying to calm down. And Zach, he's leading the whole time, and he looks back at us all. He's like, hey. I'm like, okay, what's up?
Yeah, game plan. Let's go.
What's the amount of money it would take for you to suck a dick? And I'm like, what? And he's like, is $1 million enough? I'm like, no, Zach, $1 million's not enough. I'm like, no. And Ryan's like, I'm not sucking a dick. I'm not. And Zach's like, I could go for $1 million right about now. And I'm like, fucking. And I'm like, okay, fuckhead, like, let's keep moving. He's like, no. You got to tell me your number. We can't move forward until you tell me your number. And Ryan's just like, absolutely not. Like, you know, and we're whispering all this. It's 3 dudes like huddled together on the side of a fucking mountain, breathing heavy. Like, there's nobody else around. And it's just funny because he was so persistent about it. So it was funny. And I was like, is it on camera or not? And he's like, oh, you got a camera number? Let's hear it. It turned into a fucking riot. And as this is all going on, I'm like, this is the fucking beauty of having someone like Zach around, because I was like, my on-camera number was 100 million. Yeah. On-camera number, 100 million bucks. I wasn't able to leave without saying it. And he's like, that's a lot. I'm like, yeah, dude, I'd have to disappear for the rest of my life, and my kids are going to have to live with it. 100 million's life-changing, bud. I'm good. So what's your number?
On camera number?
On camera number. 100 million, everything in my life changes. It's out. I never have to be seen again.
What I can't get away from. The act, yes. It scares the shit out of me, the act itself. But whoever I'd be giving that to,
yeah,
I don't want them to react at all. That's what's bothering me the most, is like them being like really good job or like really into it. I'm like, no, like you stop that.
Well, then Zach was like, he's like, listen, he's like, it's not going to take a long time. You're going to be good at it. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, tell me you're not going to be good at sucking a dick. And I'm like, oh God damn it. He's like, what? You're not going to try and get it over with fast? You're going to suck that dick for an hour? You can get it over quick. We're whispering this on the side of a fucking mountain.
Oh my God.
He was fucking having us die. Having us fuck. We were fucking rolling. Because Ryan was just having no part of it. Okay? No part of it. No part of it. We're howling. We're dying. Zach's like, he's laughing his balls off because he's just trying to get a number out of us. And he's like $1 million just to be a dickhead, to just fucking keep it rolling, you know? And so we're having fun. We keep going in. And so then we stop to take a break, get some food and everything. We're relaxing. And we're still super quiet. And he's like, hey. I'm like, fuck, here it comes again. I know it's coming out of this one, this dickhead. And he's like, if you had to, like, gun to your family's head. And I'm like, no.
Oh.
Here, that's it. Now there's no money involved.
Yeah.
It's gun to the family's head. He's like, you either got to make out with a dude for 30 minutes or suck his dick until he finishes. And I'm like, Zach, I'm like, what kind of fucking question is this? And he's like, got to answer it, gun to your family's head. He's sitting there, and I'm fucking sitting there, and I'm like, with him, there is always something, okay, that he is ahead of you on.
Yeah.
Okay. And and I'm like not saying anything because I answered last time, and I'm making fucking Ryan answer this one. So we're sitting there, and then Ryan's like, oh, no. I'm like, I'm not answering.
Yeah.
I want him to answer.
Uh-huh.
And Ryan's like, Zach's like, dude, he's like kissing a dude, man. He's like, that's super intimate. Like, at least sucking his dick, you don't got to look him in the eyes, you know? And all this. I'm like, this fucking guy is just, he's a riot to be around. He is going to just, it's a fucking ball. And then Ryan's like, he's like, oh, dude, he's like, dude, I'm making out with the dude for 30 minutes. And I'm like, and then I look over at Zach, and Zach like gets quiet, and I look back at Ryan. I'm like, man, that's fucking way gayer than sucking a dick. And Ryan starts feeling bad all of a sudden. He's like, fuck you guys. And Zach's like, dude, he's like, I'm sucking a dick. It's gay to kiss another dude. Like, fucking ruining him. I was fucking dying. But yeah, that was our trip.
Yeah.
Every fucking gay question that you could come out of the word work with at the most fucking shit, horrible time of it. Something could be something we were hiking up the fucking mountain, breathing heavy, like anything. And he'd be like, do you like a finger in the butt? I'm like, God damn it, dude. Like, what are you fucking doing to me? He is a fucking hoot to be around. Yeah. Always finding like an opportune moment to lighten the mood and get your head off of how bad something sucked.
Yeah.
Or it's, to me, like I was saying, like just being on the side of a mountain with away from everything else. You're not on your phone searching Instagram. You're actually living life. You're experiencing something and building a relationship with two other dudes on the mountain asking gay questions. Like, it was fucking, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to have stories about hunting camp stories, experiences and relationships and inside jokes and things like that I don't know, that just make you feel way better about life than the everyday act that we all live.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because out there, what I was doing is not my reality. And I would like to make it more and more and more and occur way more than it does now because of the closeness I felt with nature, God, those two other guys. Like that needs to occur more, because in everyday society, we might think that we have those things, but with this thing constantly being around, we do not.
Nope.
We do not. And that's what it's abundantly clear to me that, you know, we need to do more stuff online because that's the avenue. This is how everybody sees it. But the message from it needs to I want to get across to people that you all should be experiencing these things in life as well. Not to be able to post it, but be able to have that experience and share it with everybody. Don't do things just to post them. Do things for yourself, but then and share the experience with everyone.
I heard someone say the other day, it was a reel I was watching from another podcast, and I think they were talking about their son or their kid. Oh, it was Matthew McConaughey talking about
Nice.
His kid wanted a cell phone at like 11, 12, 13. And
Yeah.
they decided 15 was the age. They were going to wait. 15 is the age.
Bro, that's a long time.
It is. So they got him a phone, said it was okay for him to get on Instagram, do the whole social media thing. But he was like, he gave him like words of wisdom. He's like, don't go out and try to seek things or do things that will look good for the internet. Like, don't go try to do something because like, oh, like this will look cool over here so I can post about it. No, you should be going and living And if you happen to grab something from that,
Yeah.
then that's what goes up. Not the perfect shot or the setup or
No.
all these doctored up photos that make it look like, a fucking painting. Like, no, like the raw photo of that event that you went to do because you wanted to do that, not just for the gram.
We have become, yeah, dude, that's what it is. We've become a society where we post things to get attention and clout.
Mm-hmm.
We're not posting what we're doing. We're pretending to do them and posting about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing. Like, whenever people are taking pictures of them hiking and they're on top of a fucking mountain, like, yeah, I want to post a picture and share it because of how cool it is. I want to share it with you. You kind of can't hike a mountain without doing some tough shit.
Right.
Like, to be in the middle of nowhere and hike a mountain, bitch, you didn't do that. I don't think you just did it for the picture.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted to get a picture up there, and you should, and you want to share it. But the experience itself, like in-person experience, is way more.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, that's 100% on point. People should be doing things to do them, and not just doing them to get attention.
Right.
And a lot of young kids today, because they're getting paid with it, they're making a lot of money from it. Making a lot of money from it, and that's kind of what's fucking everything. And like I said, like, the mountain doesn't care if you're rich or poor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Ironmans don't care if you're rich or poor.
Nope.
You know, nothing really. That's the experience. The experience part of it is the fact that you could have somebody that doesn't have a whole lot of money versus someone that does have a lot of money doing the exact same thing, and there is nothing separating you as you are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
As you are doing it, you are both trying to achieve the same exact goal, even though one is rich and one is poor.
Right.
That's the experience part of it that makes it beautiful. And that's how insanely wonderful relationships can blossom as well. You can have someone who does not have a whole lot of money versus somebody who has all the money in the world, and they're chasing the same feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be fascinating and very cool. And I think that that's how society has just taken this fucking weird turn. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you got money or not. Like, if you're cool and you have something that you're really good at and you strive for greatness at it, like, we should be able to sit down and have a beer.
Yeah.
You know, I've said it over and over and over again that if you don't like somebody in society 100%, then all of a sudden people don't like each other. Like, people are like, I have to like you 100% in order to get behind you. It's like, hold the fuck on. Like, that's not how things are supposed to work in life. And that's what, these elites are using against us, in the sense of united we stand and divided we fall. However, if you can get the people that are supposed to be united, all of us, to be divided on every single level possible, even all of the fucking Trump supporters, they're trying to break apart that whole concept and camaraderie of everybody in there, so that they fight amongst themselves, and all the Republicans to fight amongst themselves over whether they like Trump or they like this person, or because Trump's an idiot, this and that. Like, all these people that are supposed to be together in order to achieve a goal, they're going to find a way to pick them apart internally, so that if they don't like that person 100%, then they won't happen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's so many people that agree on so many levels, but it's like, well, if I don't agree with somebody 100%, I don't like them. That's what we as a society have become. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in your everyday life, that's not even true. I don't even agree with everything that Hannah does.
Right.
I don't agree with everything that you do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't agree with everything I do. Nor fucking should we.
Right.
Because that's what makes things beautiful in life, is the actual discussions that are able to occur, and how to work through them, and how to look at the common goal that's trying to be achieved from two different perspectives. That's what makes life beautiful. And now somehow in society, we've gotten to a point where if you don't agree with something 100%, can't do it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that fucked?
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah. Nuts. I will say, like I said, I said it a few times here, my biggest takeaway was how incredible it all was, and like, people need to be able to do things like this that make you feel closer to God, that make you feel closer to something bigger than yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You do that with your Ironman training. You've said it multiple times.
Yep.
I think it's super important, because in today's reality, the second that you pick this thing up, like, you don't know what's real.
Mm-hmm.
But I do know that what I just did was very real, very up close, and very emotional.
Yeah.
Super emotional. From like breathing heavy and freaking out and trying to catch my wind to killing an animal and then packing it out and just looking around and being like, fuck, dude, I need to appreciate life.
Yep.
And I appreciate life as it is every single morning I wake up. Like, that's kind of our MO.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we built here.
Yep.
And for it to become much more clear as I was out there, I was like, fuck me, okay, this is really intense.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like we said, you do the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's hard not to get closer to something.
Yeah.
And whether you go to church or not, or whether you are fucking whatever, I think people should search for those things in life.
Yeah. I mean, I don't religiously go to church every Saturday or Sunday. We do here and there, you know, when it fits our schedule, but I don't look at me not showing up there as like I'm not into my faith, or I'm not devoting that time. Like, I feel like every training session I have, every race that I do, that is my church. That is my time of worship. That is my time of, like, there is not an ounce of anything else going on in my head other than listening to myself breathe and just whatever I'm zooming by, whether it's in the water, on the bike, on the run. It's the most euphoric part of a race for me is the 30 seconds before I get in the water, where it is chaos. There's music going. Everyone is fired the fuck up. And all of a sudden something happens where I don't hear anything. And I'm usually on the starting line with my buddy Tony, and the last thing we do, literally, like, you hear this bell going off every 3 seconds, because every 3 seconds people enter the water. You hear this countdown over and over. Right before we get in, we say a prayer, just me and him. And after that, dude, nothing goes on in my head for 5 hours or 10 hours, whatever distance it is. It's absolutely insane.
So
it's the scariest and most rewarding feeling on the planet.
super cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, like, you don't need to go to church to have that experience.
No.
I don't think, but I do think that people having experiences like that are very important.
Yeah.
I think that I mean, I grew up in a Catholic church. I grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I went through, church was everything.
Mm-hmm.
Church. It's like church became before the Bible, for gosh sakes. But being out there, like, taxing. I mean, I would think physicality has something to do with it too.
For sure.
Like, taxing your body physically,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start taxing yourself mentally, emotionally, and then spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Like, as you progress through those things, like, as big time workout, as you're pushing yourself, you're like, it's physically demanding.
Mm-hmm.
And most people can do physically demanding things if they apply themselves. And then it becomes mentally demanding. You have to continually tell yourself to keep going.
Right.
And then after that, like, after that mental part, you start to get emotional. Like, you start to let out a tear. You start to think, why am I even doing this?
Right.
I shouldn't be doing this. This is just hard. And then you're like, no, you should keep going, because you feel something that you've never felt before. And then after you emotionally get spent, like, emotions are like, you're starting to feel numb. And then all of a sudden you start to have these feelings of, like, spirituality. Like, I might be meant for this. I might be meant for something more in life. There's way more here than I actually ever thought. You're doing the same thing you were doing from the very beginning whenever you were taxing yourself physically. You just now beat the physicality part because you're still going.
Yep.
The mental aspect has been beaten. Emotions are gone, because now you have something way stronger than emotions, which is spirituality. Mm-hmm. And whether you believe in God or anything like that, you were at a point where you are like, there is something way bigger than just me. There's something way bigger than just me. And whenever you're doing it in an Ironman, and whenever like, the emotions ran so high and going through what I did, I'm like, how can you not look around and appreciate like what life actually is.
Mm-hmm.
Like before the hustle and bustle and the technology, there's something that is so big and so special out there that I think everybody should be searching for, but they don't search for it because it's so hard to physically get started that they can't even get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of people that are trying to search for God in their life, it's not that they have to start working out, but I do think that physically exerting yourself is why the human body is so impressive, because it is incredible. Like, it is incredible. The fucking human body is amazing. So why not tax yourself physically and tax yourself mentally? And then emotions. You'll find something special there at the end. And everybody does it even in bodybuilding, because whenever they go to a show and they win, and like you see them break down and cry, and then you see them thank God, and you're like, this is just incredible. You have had such a wild ride of emotions and intensity in your life that you can't help but be like, there's something so fucking much bigger than me. It's insane. And what's crazy is how quick that feeling is to go away sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, I'm already back to reality. I got back from the elk hunt. I got sick, and then I had to fucking fly to California. So that high of like looking out in the mountains and seeing nothing for miles. There's fucking nobody for miles in any direction, to going and seeing fucking millions of people in front of me. And I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, dude, going from where you were to Los Angeles, all in a fucking week span or 5-day span.
3 days.
3-day span. Yeah.
So, and it's crazy that we're able as a society to forget, or even as individuals to forget those feelings. Because after the race is over, after it's over, you had this crazy high of high, and then 3 days later, you're back to work, and you're like, looking around and being like, am I supposed to be here?
Yeah.
Am I supposed to be here? What's going on inside my head? Isn't it crazy how that your mind, especially because you go from like the high of highs with no technology, just the human body, okay? And then you go right to technology, and like it does something to your brain. It does. It's hard to explain it unless you do it, unless you're away from your phone for a extended period of time and do something way different. Like, you can't explain it.
No, there's nothing like it.
No. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I've always been fascinated by all aspects of physicality. Okay. The bodybuilding thing I love. What I realized as I was hiking out, I thought about a lot of stuff because it took a while.
Yeah.
Took a minute. But you know, me personally, like I was like, I absolutely love this shit. I fucking love it. But what I was also thinking about was everything else that I have such a love and affection for in my life. Lifting weights being one of them. I just like lifting weights. It makes me feel good. Like, it just makes me feel happy when I'm lifting weights. I just like to. I don't know what it is about it. I just like lifting weights. It's the craziest thing in the world that I enjoy it that much. And then I was like, and I really like what I'm doing right now. This was probably the coolest thing I've felt in a very long time. This ranks up there with some of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. And I've done a lot of really cool shit in my life. I'm like, I'm going to keep doing this. And I was like, how in the world can I connect everything together? And I'm like, well, you just connect them together, you stupid motherfucker. Just because nobody's doing it doesn't mean you can't do it, fuckhead.
Right, you just do them.
You just do them. You just lift the fucking weights, and then you ruck for miles. That's all you need to do. Stop overcomplicating it, you overzealous son of a bitch. Like, you don't need to have somebody be like, you need to hike X amount of miles to do this, and you need to be the hybrid athlete that does this. How about you just lift weights and ruck miles? Because that's all you need to do right now. You made it through this. I could have kept going for more fucking miles. It was scary and treacherous, but I was in shape. I didn't stop. It's not like, because after it was all done, I'm like, Zach, I was like, did I do a good job? He's like, bro, you're in way better shape than I thought you are. I'm like, really? And he's like, bro, you kept up with me on the hike out. was like, well, yeah. I was like, that was part of it. And he's like, you probably could have kept going. And I was like, dude, I could have did that same hike again, motherfucker. Because I was just able to zone out and I was in shape.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to connect my life together with the things that I like to do because that's what I like to do. I don't need to be like anybody. I just need to be me. So I'm just going to lift the fucking weights, eat the fucking food, and rock fucking miles. That's all I have to do. End of fucking story. You're not going to die, Seth. And even if you do die, it's okay. You got a fucking hell of a life insurance policy, and at least you're living. You know, you're doing things that you like to do. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lift the weights and do the rocks. And I think personally, many people that are lost in life need to go and experience things like I experienced.
Yeah.
I think so.
Even if it's not even on that scale.
No,
because to build up to that point, to build up to what you just did, for me to build up to do a 140.6 or a 70.3, dude, I didn't, my first shot at it wasn't to do a 140 out of the gate. My first hurdle to tackle was 3 miles or 5 miles or run, walk.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, or the Murraysville trails, the Duff Park, it's nothing like you were up, but that was my first instance in the trails on some steep shit. And it wasn't thousands of feet of elevation, but it was euphoric for me. And I feel like everyone gets overwhelmed that big goal is so far that they don't even want to try or feel the process. But I mean, to what you said, the physical beating unlocks something in the human mind. It's something that isn't achieved through money or financial gain or success or, I mean, even building a family and being proud of your family, it's different because it's internal. It's in here. It's up here.
Yes.
There's no words for it.
No, and that's what gets lost on this thing.
I hate this thing.
This thing is the greatest thing and the worst thing that could have ever happened. You know what I mean? It's great because of the opportunity that have been created, but it's such a horrible thing because then the aspect of real life is gone. You know what I mean? Like there's so many people that are in such a depressed mood and thought and everyday concept because of them not thinking that they are worth anything and their life isn't good enough because of how great other people's lives on Instagram look and this and that. And it's like, you just need to keep living. Go live life. Like literally we put that on a dozen fucking shirts. And it's not some faggy saying that we're like, live life, dude. No, go fucking live it, dude. Go enjoy it. It is incredible. There is a lot out there to do. And I don't think enough people go and do it. I think that most people don't get to experience them nowadays. I think that they think they do.
Yeah.
But it's so heavily involved with technology that it's not. You should be out. You should dude, go hike a mountain. It's funny because we joke around about the granolas that are all hikers, you know, all their fresh, bright colors out in the mountains and their Subarus and their golden retrievers and everything that I really like, but they don't hunt.
Right.
And it's funny because we drove home and we were about an hour and 20 minutes away from Stanley as we were driving back. And I was like, hey, there's a sign for Stanley. I was like, let's go. And he's like, we can pass through there. He's like, and we could actually pull off and start doing some bugling, see if we pull any from the roads. Like, because you can take off roads from where we were. I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. So we went through, and Stanley is full of granolas. Okay. It's one of my favorite places in Idaho. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I would go back just to go hiking and do everything that is granola about it.
Yeah.
And not even go hunting because it's so cool. So we go and there's this cool coffee shop, and then like it's such a you'd love it, dude. Yeah. It's beautiful. So we stop, and then I'm at the coffee shop. Zach's on the phone. He was calling home, and I'm waiting in line because it's a small like little trailer. So you walk up to it, and they're inside like food truck.
Yeah.
And then I hear behind me go, no way. I'm like, look around like something happened. It's a fan.
No shit.
It was him and his wife. Him and his wife went to Stanley, Idaho to go out and do some hiking. And like he was like, I've never met you in my life. And we took a fucking getaway together to not see anyone. And I see you. I was like, dude, we literally stopped for 15 minutes to get a coffee. He's like, I can't believe this. He was all pumped up. His girlfriend was freaking out. And she's like, oh my God, you're excited. So I was like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, we just came out to get away. We came out to get away and just and see all this. And I'm like, picked a hell of a spot. And they're like, we love this. I was like, you guys are doing some hiking? And she's like, oh yeah. And he's like, yes, we are. And he wasn't a massive, he wasn't out of shape, but he was not a thin fella.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was a pretty big bulked up guy. After I got in the truck, I was like, I'm walking back to the truck. I was like, they actually got away. I was like, look at them. I was like, that is some good shit. They got away from civilization. You still have service in Stanley. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you would much rather be doing something else than sitting on your phone. Mm-hmm. And it was so cool to see that they actually did it and they were hiking around and going and seeing cool shit. And like we were saying, more people need to do it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. And you don't have to go to Idaho or Montana or anything to do it. You can go like the UP in Michigan, the Upper Peninsula. They say it's beautiful up there. We got Ohio Pile down here in PA. Yeah. There's a lot of places that you can go hiking and sightseeing and put your phone away or have it to get pictures, but just turn on fucking airplane mode.
Right.
Like, don't get on the internet. Stay out of there. Get pictures with your family. Make sure you make memories. Do cool stuff like that. Yeah. This was a big trip for me.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely hooked. I can't thank all of my sponsors enough for the hunt. I didn't have sponsors, but I had a lot of really cool people and really cool companies help. Me being, Instagram famous and Seth Feroce. But the guys over at Hoyt Archery, Evan, he was awesome. Made sure I got the right bow set up. All the cool shit from Hoyt. I have a hat. Told him I was a hat guy, and he sent fucking 7. I'm like, God damn it. You could have just sent 1. Yeah. I have 37 sitting on my dresser. Right. You didn't have to send me 7 more. Opened the box, and Hannah's like, more hats, son. I'm like, no. But no, I shot the Hoyt Carbon RX-7, the Wilderness Green. And then Zach Bailiff, he lives in Butler, not far from here. And he's the guy who helped sight in my bow, tune it, showed me how to do everything. Awesome guy. And then one of the coolest things about the hunt is the pack. The pack is very cool.
Yeah.
They are built for fucking work. It's so cool. I used an Exo Mountain Pack, K4 5000. Yeah. Super cool. Fill them bitches full of everything. And then Us. Thank you to Us for making such great shirts. They were good. Then another really cool piece of apparel are the puffy jackets.
Yeah.
You should get one.
Yeah, I don't have one yet.
You need to get one because it was starting to get cold at night, and I had on 2 layers. I had on our shirt and then a Kuiu overlay that was a little thicker, had the same concept but just another layer. Mm-hmm. Okay, would be considered like a mid layer. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then that fucking sun went down when we were on the side of the mountain. It got fucking cold instantly, and the wind starts to pick up. All of a sudden, dude, you get really chilly. Mm-hmm. You put the puffy jacket on, no more. And the puffy jacket is like a feather, dude.
Yeah, it weighs nothing.
And you can stuff it into your bag, and it gets about this big. So it goes from a whole fucking 2XL that would cover me to this big in your bag, light as a feather. They are very expensive, but they are worth every penny. And I think they are like, I could buy all of them in every different color from all kinds of different companies, and they'd be sick. They're awesome. Everybody should have one.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could try mine on and see it. It's super cool.
Yeah.
Like literally throw it. It like would fly away.
Well,
but somehow keeps you warm.
I was looking at them at REI.
Yeah.
And I thought it was like a cheap one. Like it was like a shitty one.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
Because of how light it is. Like you're like, oh, this thing.
Fucking piece
like,
of shit.
Yeah, right. And it's
$350.
That's what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sitka I bought a Sitka jacket when we were at one of the bow shops out there because it looked super cool, and I was like, I never tried any Sitka on, and in the hunting world, it's Kuiu and Sitka, and then First Light. First Light's like made fun of because they First Light makes really, really nice shit, but a lot of the hunting community doesn't like it because of the ownership. The people who own all of First Light aren't big supporters of the Second Amendment. So people are like, fuck First Light. And then First Light people who like it, they're like, it's a great product, and no, they're not that bad and this and that. But you talk to hardcore people and they're like, fuck First Light. But they make really nice shit.
Yeah.
But Sitka and Kuiu are like the two massive hunting brands. Both make phenomenal stuff. I have no Sitka, but I finally bought a piece. It's a really nice jacket.
Yeah.
Really nice jacket. All of it's really nice. Very functional too.
Yeah.
Very. I'm like Zach and Ryan both were very impressed with our shirts. And then Zach Bailiff was like, dude, he's like, you guys nailed these shirts. I'm like, these are hardcore hunters.
Dude,
I love it.
I couldn't get a better, like, there's no one else I'd rather comment on our stuff.
This is literally what we were going for.
Literally built for these guys, and they love it.
They love it.
That's huge.
Yeah, Zach was pumped that the arms were super long. Because he's 6'4", and he's like, dude, he's like, this fits my arms.
Yeah.
He's like, this is great. I'm pumped. I was like, yeah, we did a good job. He was like, the Dead Earth camo.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys need to make full sets, shirts and pants. He's like, I'd hunt this camo. He's like, this camo I would hunt. Then he gave a bunch of pointers on how to like tweak things for actual functionality of camos and how camos actually work and why there's good camos and why there's bad camos. Learned a lot. Yeah. I had a fun trip.
Yeah.
I would go, I now understand hunting memes where hunters are gone and wives are just like, yeah, fuck you, see ya. Because they just leave. Like Hannah couldn't talk to me first because I had no service.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a hold of me, nothing. You're just out there. She's like, you could have died. I'm like, nah, I wasn't going to die. Meanwhile, the one day I was like, I could have fucking died. It's nuts.
Man.
Nuts. But yeah, a lot of really cool people. Met a lot of really cool people. And now my big thing is I want to do another one. I definitely want to go back and hunt, my next bull, I'd want to be much bigger and more mature. And then I'm train harder and know how to train for certain things and I got to do ninja training because I'm too loud.
Yeah. Like, how do you get better at that?
You just got to go do it. I'm going to go into the woods and I literally I'm going to have to go into the woods and just try and be quiet. Step on sticks and be quiet. Fuck out works, I don't know, but I'm going to do it.
Dude, all of a sudden you're going to just be creeping up on us. I'm like, holy fuck, you
sly motherfucker.
Yep.
He's like,
I can just see it now. Like, you're like, okay, yeah. And then like the next step.
Dude, I'm not built for speed and agility. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And here I am trying to be a fucking ninja. But very cool. Very, very cool. Well, you have a race too coming up this weekend.
Yeah, Sunday.
What is it?
Augusta 70.3, Augusta, Georgia.
Really?
Yes.
Augusta, not just for golfers.
That's what Ben brought up. He's like, you gonna get around in what?
It's why did I think it was in Michigan?
I don't know. I did a swim in Michigan.
That's right. That's why.
Ago.
Yeah.
But no, going to Augusta, it's like one of the most iconic 70.3 venues.
Like the golf course.
It's like the longest running one of the longest running Ironman.
No
locations.
shit.
Yeah. Yep. So it's super cool. It's we swim in the Savannah River. It's a downstream swim, so it's a
moving.
It's a PR swim. Like, it will be fast.
No shit.
Yep. Fast swim.
Are there, like, since you're going to be swimming downstream? Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's fine.
Since you're swimming downstream, are there disadvantages rather than advantages, like caught in the current and kind of drowning yourself of moving too quick with it, rather than like, I don't know, anything?
No, the only thing I'm part of this Facebook group. It's like, everyone from over the years that have done it are in there, and you can ask questions. And the only thing they said was that you want to make sure you're hugging the buoys as tight as you can. So like, if here's the shoreline, the buoys are like almost in the middle of the river.
Uh-huh.
They said that you want to be closer to the buoys because that's where you'll catch the most straight downstream current.
Ah.
Where like anything that's breaking off the shore, like it could almost just push you right and almost create drag. So they're like, hug the buoys and stay on that line, and literally it's a straight line swim, and like then you duck in. Yeah, there's no turns. It's point A to point B.
Oh, you're moving then.
Yeah, you're
so
flying.
people that are big time swimmers,
Yeah.
fucking fly.
Oh,
in this
bro,
one.
there was another downriver swim. These guys were swimming like sub 20 minutes, like 19 minutes, where it usually takes them
40 some
30, 35, 40.
Oh, bitch.
Like I was talking to my one buddy that did it. He's like, you can expect a 6 to 8 minute PR.
Oh, wow.
And that's huge.
Yeah, that's not
so
normal.
much time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so that should set me up for a good bike. You know, in reality,
what's the bike ride? Is it hilly or big elevation changes?
Not crazy. It's like 1,700 feet of gain over the 56 miles.
Still a good bit.
Yeah, still some punchy climbs, but mostly city stuff. Then you get on a highway for a while, and then country roads till you get back into Augusta, and then the run course is like all downtown Augusta. Like they said, it's fucking super cool.
I mean, Augusta's beautiful when we went.
Yeah.
We drove around a little bit down there when we were in North Augusta for that dove hunt last year. It's a beautiful area. You're going to love the area.
Yeah,
it's
that's
gorgeous.
what everyone said. We're literally in the heart of the city. That we got a hotel at every race there's like a host hotel, and they book up so fucking quick, but I got in early enough that we got a spot there. So like Ironman Village is right there. The shuttle bus to the swim start's right there. And I guess the swim start's actually on like the Carolina side of the Savannah.
It's all right there.
Yeah.
Like I didn't realize that when we were there, that North Augusta is South Carolina.
Right.
And Augusta is North Georgia. Like they're literally right there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had no idea either until I saw it on the map.
You're going to love this place.
Yeah. I'm pumped, dude.
Because when we went for the dove hunt, like there's certain places in the United States I would live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's certain places. One of them is Idaho.
Yeah.
Like I love it, but it's middle fucking nowhere. The place that we were there for 4 days, and I was just like, it's like you feel like small town America. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of soul there, like heritage, and some good, some not so fucking good because it's the South.
Yeah.
But just gorgeous place. The weather's gorgeous. The cities were nice. It was awesome. I like that area, that South Carolina, North Georgia area. Yeah. Where we were in North Augusta, and Augusta was beautiful. The North Augusta neighborhood that we stayed in at the Airbnb was like fucking, I'm like, I would fucking live here.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, because it's like they had really, really nice townhomes and homes there.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like restaurants within the neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
It was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Sidewalks everywhere. You could run everywhere, walk everywhere. People would hang out.
That's why I love doing this. Like you get to explore cities that you wouldn't normally travel to.
Mm-mm.
You know, like that isn't like, oh, the destination race city. Well, no, like it looks pretty fucking cool, dude. And I'm pumped to explore there a little bit.
A lot of food.
Yeah.
I like food.
Yeah.
That's the other thing on the hunt that I learned. Zach was like, we went to the grocery store, and he's like, so I'm buying like healthy granola bars and healthy things for the mountain. He's like, hey, you need to fucking buy some shitty food. And I'm like, Zach, I don't eat shitty food. And he's like, I'm buying more shitty food than I should right now for you because you're going to need some fucking calories. After the first day, I was like, holy fuck. And I was like, I completely understand this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then after the second day, I'm like, I know why this cocksucker is just eating. He bought like sweets, like high dense calorie sweets, just because you are moving. You're on this. I was on the stepper all day.
Right.
And then trying to be super quiet. And then the stepper all day long from 4 to 9. And then I finally ate donuts.
I would love to know like those really high heart rate times, like whether it was actually seeing the elk that was elevating it,
Mhm.
or scaling these things and being so careful with foot placement. Like, I would love to know, like, the calories burned,
I
like, in
I said
that.
the same thing.
Like, when you
There's
said that it was like a 15, 20, 30 yard
yeah.
to that first day, like, to get closer to that herd,
Mm-hmm.
it's like going that 20 yards, like, how many calories did you burn
Dude,
there?
my heart rate was screaming.
Yeah.
That's what Zach said, because when we got back, he's like, how many calories you think you burned? I'm like, I can't even fathom, because we moved the entire time. But like, whenever your heart rate is elevated that long, for that long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't know what my body's doing. All I know is, so we did the hunt, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I came home and I got food poisoning or something happened, where I shit and puked my brains out for about 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we didn't do the podcast last week.
Yeah.
And I had to leave and go to California. I woke up this morning pre-cardio, and I worked out whenever I was out in California. I ran, but I woke up this morning pre-cardio, 204.6 pounds. I left at like 213.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, me losing 10 fucking pounds,
Yeah.
and I rehydrated and re-ate. Like, I've been eating a lot of fucking food
Mhm.
since being in California. I was like finally able to eat because I got sick on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So I ate a fuckload of food, but I'm almost 10 pounds fucking lighter right now, dude.
That's fucking wild.
Oh yeah. 10 pounds on me is a lot. I'm a short guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm like burning the calories out there. Like on the fourth day, because we went back into town. We got a burger, French fries. I ate dessert.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we moved. And the next morning I woke up, I ate donuts and drank coffee, instant coffee, and ate donuts. I'm like, I'm fucking. And he's like, you joined. I'm like, bud, my feet, I am smoked right now.
Mm-hmm.
I should not be going back in. And we went back in and hiked another 8 miles the next day, hunting again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, and if Zach got one, because he was like, I'm gonna see if I can tag out.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, if he got one, we would have been hiking that bitch out too. I was like, yeah, let's do it. I think it's so fun.
That's so cool.
But
I would love to experience that sometime. Not even like, I personally, like, my mind would probably change after seeing it, but I don't have any like desire to actually do the hunt, but
Yeah.
be part of it and see it all and help carry shit out. I would love that.
I think that more people should be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one thing that I started questioning, like, as I'm doing it, because I'm a big believer in the fact, like, everybody that would hate, like, oh my God, you killed an animal. I'm like, you eat meat, motherfucker. Like, this is the most insanely cool way you could do it, is to kill it yourself and quarter it out yourself, skin it yourself. You are up close personal with the animal, taking its skin off of its fucking body.
The most humane way to take its life.
Like, I mean, it's you are doing it, like, you have hands on it. So whenever you eat that elk burger, you're going to be like, I cut this thing myself. Like, this is pretty wild. Okay. It does something to you that you didn't ever feel before. That's why I think it's so important, like, eat, because if you're present for it, you watched it go down, and then you got to put your hands on it. Put your hands on the dead animal, cut its skin off of its body, and then help take the meat off of it. Help. Take it off of there. See what it's like. And then pack it out and literally sweat your balls off for miles and, like, question why you're even doing it. Because as you get through, you're like, this is insane. I can't even believe I'm doing this. What am I doing? This is nuts. But I think that if more people did it, it would be, they'd feel different. But what I was getting at was, like, we have, as a society, have become such hustle and bustle.
Mm-hmm.
That nobody has time to do this. Nobody has time to keep their traditions going within their family of deer hunting. You know what I mean? Like, deer hunting's big in Western PA, and a lot of people do it. Like, go kill the animal, feel it, like, you do it, appreciate for what it is. Take it for more than, just deer hunting. Take it for more of, I'm taking its life and I'm going to feed my family with it. Vibe with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we become so hustle and bustle that those things are lost.
Yeah.
People don't have time to even learn, because it's a skill. You're not just taking a bow in there and being like, I'm going to go kill something today. No, you fucking aren't.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't going to happen. If we did have a rifle, we probably could have killed 30 elk, though. We could have killed 30 fucking elk with a rifle.
Could have fed a small city.
That's why the whole backcountry archery hunting is so much different. I learned even more than I knew already, and I'm scratched the surface level of understanding with hunting, and like that backcountry archery hunting, all hunters are not created the same, and that small group of men and women that do that, I tip my hat to them.
Yeah.
Bad motherfuckers. To be as good as they are at it, super intense. Yeah. I want to kill big bull elk. I would like to get a trophy, hang it on the wall. That's going to be a goal of mine. And then I want to kill a moose. I want a moose.
Where do you go for that?
Alaska.
Yeah.
I'd love to go to Alaska. Problem with Alaska is new terrain that makes, and weather.
Yeah.
Alaska, it's probably going to rain. It's going to be really fucking cold. And Zach said, because I was like, he was asking, he's like, what do you think? I'm like, I've always wanted to do an Alaskan adventure. I would love to do an Alaskan adventure. And he's like, yeah, he's like, we should do it. I'm like, but if you and Ryan want to go, I am in 100%. And but he said what's wild is he's like, in certain parts, like hiking, the ground is so wet that it's like walking on memory foam. Yeah, like wet memory foam. Pretty crazy. I took it for what it is in my head.
Yeah.
But I guess there's only one way to find out.
Yeah.
Go and do it.
Try it. Yeah.
And then I looked up how big moose were. Like everybody's like, moose are huge. You look up how big a moose is in comparison to a full-grown elk.
Dwarfs it, like
the shoulder of a full-grown bull elk. Man, I didn't even think I said what type of bull elk I killed. I was so caught up in the moment.
I didn't know there was.
Yeah, I killed it was a raghorn. It was a satellite bull. Man, I didn't even say that. Fucked it all up. Damn it. But no, full-grown bull elk is like 5.5 shoulder. 6. No, 5.5. I think it's what I looked up. 7+ for a moose shoulder.
Oh
so it's
God.
Me sticking my arm in the air.
Yeah.
That's how high. That's how high its shoulder is. Yeah. It was a good time. When do you leave?
Leave tomorrow morning, Thursday morning.
When's the race?
Sunday.
Oh, okay, cool.
Sunday.
Nice. Travel day.
Yeah, we
You
get
got a direct
in,
flight? Layover somewhere.
Charlotte to Charlotte, and then
Charlotte's a
into
good place to
Augusta.
lay over.
Yeah.
I have not had many issues in Charlotte or Chicago.
Yeah. Well, I booked these flights like months ago.
Oh, yeah?
And I went on just to double check everything. And like it said, there was a change in your flight. And usually like it's a few minutes, like on departure. It had me leaving at like 3 or 4 p.m. Like I had a 6 a.m. flight.
Get out of here.
And I'm like, how can you literally change my entire day? Like, and I guess it was my fault. I didn't read the email or whatever when it happened. So I went in to try to change it. Would let me change it to the original flight time I wanted, but it was like another $320.
Motherfuckers.
I'm like, no. I'm like, I already paid for this time. Like, no. So I had paid for that with a flight credit of a flight that got canceled before. So I've recanceled that. I wasn't allowed to book until I canceled.
Yep.
So like,
which airline was it?
American.
Motherfuckers.
And I'm like, fuck, this is ballsy if I cancel this. So like I cancel it, and then like something with my name attached to it, it wasn't refreshing in the system. So it was like a 2-hour window. I'm like,
you were losing it.
And like Kim's like, what's wrong right now? And I'm like, I don't have flights right now to Augusta. She's like, that's in 6 days. I'm like, I know.
We're good.
I was like, it'll be fine.
Good.
And then I got all my original flights back.
That's crazy that it does that.
It's ridiculous. And I wanted to call and just like, I'm sure they'd figure it out, but like the wait on just like the phone thing, like, I'm like, no, I don't actually have time to wait. I gotta get it done my way.
Yep.
And just eat it. So.
I just did that with all the stuff over the past from Idaho to LA and all that stuff. I was using credits and just finagling things around, changing flights.
Yeah.
American sucks. at it.
Mhm.
United was better because I had credit on both
Yeah.
from canceling and changing.
Hmm.
United's app's pretty good. I was
Yeah.
pleased with them.
Yeah. Americans is like, it just doesn't work sometimes.
Still, it was. I prefer. I like flying American,
Mm-hmm.
but the United app was pretty cool. I liked
Mhm.
how I was able to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this race is a qualifier for New Zealand World Championships. And
When is that?
it's 2024.
Mm.
But the problem with Worlds is it always fucks with our big season with the companies.
Uh-huh.
This, because it's in the Southern Hemisphere, it would be
Mm.
December 12th through the 14th. So like after our Black Friday, after all the fucking mayhem. So if I do get a chance or if I do get a slot, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm going to fucking take it.
Hey. I mean, New Zealand, big spot, dude.
Dude.
Lord of the Rings,
That's
Red
what I mean.
Stag.
That's what I mean.
If there was ever a place to spend more time after you go,
Mm-hmm.
it is fucking New Zealand.
Yep.
Their terrain is supposed to be absolutely stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a fucking race there. You'd be a little chilly in that water, ain't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Depending what it is. I didn't look into the details a whole lot, but I mean, I guess it's like their what? It would be like
Their summer.
Yeah, their June.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I talked to Matty Ice about it already. I was like,
What'd he say?
I was like, how much of a problem is it from Australia to New Zealand? He's like, dude, 3-hour flight from any major city here.
No shit.
Yeah. He's like, what do you got going on? And I told him, and he's like, oh, dude, he's like, I won't miss that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that'd be cool.
I mean, New Zealand is like, it's beautiful countryside.
Yeah.
Have you been looking at pictures of it and everything?
Yeah. There was a promo video for the race.
Sick promo video.
Dude, and it's very like tribal, like
Oh,
from the
yeah.
location it was at. Apparently, like the heritage of like endurance traveled from Kona, Hawaii, into parts of New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Over I forget the timeline. Don't quote me on some of this, but
Sure.
there's a huge connection between Kona being the iconic World Championship race and this spot in New Zealand. Like there's a connection somehow.
Really?
Yeah, like a tribal type. Yeah.
Mm.
I like that stuff.
Fucking, yeah, dude. If you don't think that stuff's cool, then fuck off. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's like before anything was like, before materialistic shit got involved.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
super
yeah,
cool.
dude. Oh, yeah, dude. Well, New Zealand is one of the, I don't know if it's the only, but it's one of the only places on the planet with no predators. They don't have wolves. They don't have bears. They don't have fucking coyotes.
Wow, that's wild.
They don't have anything to decimate the population of their meats.
Right.
That's all their sheep are wild sheep. All of them. All the goats, all the sheep, all wild. Yeah. Yeah. Super fucking cool.
That's why I have that great merino wool down there.
That's why.
Literally.
Yes, that's exactly why the best merino wool that can be produced is from New Zealand.
Yep.
Yeah, the sheep's there. Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's nuts.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it hell, man.
Tag along. That's New Zealand. The New Zealand red stag hunt is my lifelong bucket list hunt.
Yeah.
That I will do within my lifetime because the red stags there are iconic red stags.
Mm-hmm.
Huge, crazy looking animals.
Yeah. I had a friend, he went and filmed a hunt down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Fucking insane.
Very, 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 very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Good times.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Great catching up, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck on the run
Thanks.
and the swim and the bike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What's the weather supposed to be?
85, sunny, no bad weather this weekend at all. Should be perfect.
85. How's the humidity?
I didn't check that aspect. I know it's going to be humid. I assume so.
Yeah, I don't know
being
if
in
it
the
is or not.
south.
Yeah, but it starts in the morning. Probably
yeah.
won't be too crazy in the morning.
I'll be done by 11:30.
Oh, yeah, you'll be good
Yeah.
then, dude.
Mhm.
It won't hit peak community the humidity at all.
No, I'll be in the water by 7, and then
Yeah.
hopefully under 5 hours.
And we'll go to New Zealand.
Then we'll go to New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yep.
Christmas time.
Yep.
It's crazy to think that that is their Christmas time, but it'll be their summertime.
Yeah.
Hard to handle.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe we'll see Gandalf there.
Can only hope.
Lord of the Rings. Bunch of orcs. Orcs. Ben's a big Lord of the Rings guy.
Is he?
Oh, Ben's a massive Lord of the Rings guy.
Fuck, so I should probably have to bring him with. Huh?
Yeah, he'll be all for it.
Ben's a fucking hoot, dude.
Oh, I love it. Well,
Awesome.
everyone, as always, thank you for listening, and I hope you all have a stupendous fucking day.
Bye-bye.